You know, the ones that all I don't have access to.
Good morning. I'd like to welcome everyone to the meeting. It's this is Tuesday. We got the day. Tuesday, May 21st. It's 9 a.m. Roll call, please.
Jim Matheson.
Present.
Jim Marlowe.
Present.
Jim Rosen.
On our agenda, we have old business at the top of the agenda, but I'm going to move that down to after new business, and we'll start off with new business, and that's going to be the U.S. Fish and Wildlife. And I know you guys have wanted this meeting, asked for this meeting, and so I'm going to turn it over to you, and let's hear what you have to say.
Sure. You want me to stand or?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, yeah.
Good.
Absolutely. Good morning.
If you would stand on the golden necks.
That is the hot spot.
Yeah.
No pressure.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate commissioners, you letting us come and speak this morning. My name is Justin Sexton. I'm the refuge manager of Travel Orchard National Wildlife Refuge, and purpose of our meeting today is to update Williamson County regarding Little Grassy Dam and those impacts. So that's what we'd like to do today, in the potential impact to Little Grassy Road and Bridge, the road which the county owns and maintains, and the bridge which U.S. Fish and Wildlife owns and maintains. So it's been a little bit of time here, but we found some deficiencies in our spillway, and we were going through the process to evaluate those deficiencies in spillway. One thing that we had to do over the lake is lower it to maintain a lower pool level of less than 4 feet from its normal pool, just so it wouldn't go over the spillway. So this is a recommendation out of our dam safety office out of Washington, D.C. To do that. So that's one of the reasons for the lake level. Right now, where we're approaching in this process is we have a scope of work ready to send to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers for them to do, and it's called a dam modification study. They will hopefully begin this work this summer. This will be an 18-month report where they'll do an alternatives analysis. They'll look at all the deficiencies in the spillway and look at what those repairs would look like to fix the spillway, to fix the dam, and other things as well. Basically, it's not going to be a repair job. This dam is 80 years old. It's reached its life expectancy, so spillway will pretty much be a total rehab of that with the bridge, sitting on that. So this will take 18 months, but our hope is at the end of 18 months, we'll have 30% design with cost to make those repairs. We do have some funding associated with the repairs through the Great American Outdoor Act. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough because we don't know what that total amount is, but we do have some funding secured to do that. So part of this dam modification study will look at alternatives for the repair. One of those alternatives that we're considering is, obviously, we're going to look at the road that's on top of the dam. In today's engineering world, I don't think most time when you build an earthen dam, they put roads on top of that. So that'll be one consideration that we'd like the county to think about is as we look at this, that we might look at alternatives for that road to be moved over off of the dam. This would also remove the bridge, which is currently touching the spillway. And that's another engineering thing you would not do today, is have a bridge that actually impacts the flow over that spillway. And then obviously the vibration and those other things could impact the spillway. So that's one of the alternatives that we were looking at is having both of those moved. Obviously the bridge is still ours, the road would be yours. One consideration we'd like the county to consider, that if we could secure the funding to not only move the road, do a new road, do a new bridge with the county, consider taking that as part of their ownership. It would be a brand new road and bridge that then would be maintained by one entity, not both of us. We've struggled in the past. Obviously, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service has a different mission, a wildlife conservation mission. Travel Orchard being very unique. We have an industrial mission, agriculture, and recreation, but we're not a civil works agency like the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is, et cetera. So it's been more difficult for us to secure money for bigger projects. So we're excited through the Great American Outdoor Act that we were able to consider this. So looking, it's one consideration, looking at moving the road and also looking for that bridge to move to. One of the huge benefits of us going through the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and we'll use the Economy Act to pay them to do this, is all the design features, all of that will be pretty much a warranty in perpetuity. If there's ever a design deficiency determined in the future, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers will have responsibility to come back and make that repair. So unlike any other firm, it's a pretty good guarantee that they would do that work. So Anyway, so that's the consideration. Looking at that, I think out of the deal, the county would get a brand new road and a brand new bridge. And obviously, we don't know what that alignment would look like. That will be through the alternatives analysis. So I'll kind of pause right there, Kevin. Did I miss anything? That's pretty much Kevin Rocket, our facilities directors here today as well. But I'll pause right there for any questions, and I can provide additional comments.
When was this gonna start again?
The alternatives analysis, we're hoping period performance will start in August. So 18 months from August, however that plays out.
And will the Grassy Road Bridge be finished over the interstate as well? By that time?
I don't know.
Yes, yeah, it should be open in the next 6 or 8 months.
Yep, during the feasibility study, we don't foresee any closures of the bridge or anything like that. Obviously, construction, yes, that's a much more complicated issue. And after we know all those factors, we definitely talk about what that would look like and how long that would take. Obviously, this is a pretty major project, looking at the spillway bridge and road. And obviously, we would want to work with the county hand in hand, through that process. And that would be our request. If this is something the county can entertain, would be part of it. They create a cohort, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, that'll have our engineers on it, but we would just ask for y'all to participate in that. And obviously, we would build it to your standards, and actually your engineer would be on the team to review those documents, as we go through that process. So, I think that would meet all your baseline needs.
What about local utilities? Have you reached out to Devil's Kitchen Water District?
But we have not. Like I said, this alternatives analysis is just the initial phase. Basically, we get a design construction, I think all those considerations. And so we will still have to go through the NEPA process, and the Corps of Engineers will do that for us. That's part of this alternatives analysis, which would include public meetings. So all that would be, it's just kind of, we're speculating. Obviously, we know it needs to be fixed, but we're speculating on what that fix looks like and what those impacts will be, and that'll all be evaluated in that NEPA process.
So when you say that you think that the spillway is obsolete, are they going to take that all the way down? What you have had what that might look like?
I don't. I know there would be impacts to the lake. Obviously there would be. Obviously, we'd have to lower the lake to do this. But yeah, mainly all that concrete would have to be removed, redone. There's been some undermining, found some cavities underneath that spillway. So they have to go in there, look at the material, obviously, and make sure that material still can be used, or they have to bring in new material to do that. So yeah, it'd be 100% rehab, to my understanding.
18-month study, is that a full 18 months? It doesn't get done early, they use it.
Correct. That's the core estimate. Yeah, and that comes with a 30% engineering design with cost estimate. So the first part of it, and this is a $2 million study, that we pay for, that would be all inclusive to what we would need to actually get the project done. But yeah, it would be the full 18 months. But halfway through there, we'll kind of know what those alternatives are. And we'll be able to, we have to go through the NEPA process, which will be open to public comment. To look at that, it'll be about halfway through that we'll really know essentially what we're going to have to do to make the repair.
It doesn't start till August, so we're still talking about a year before we would even hear a proposal.
Correct. Yes, sir.
Just if I might add something.
Yep.
So I met with Justin and his crew a few weeks ago, and we talked about all this. We were talking about alternatives, and I'm just telling you this so you know the conversations. We looked at alternatives as far as how to manage the road and the bridge, and basically looking at different options of running it through the county versus we come up with the option that more than likely, and also talked to our field engineer at IDOT, George Shepard here, that with the environmental clearances and everything that's going to be required for this, it's my opinion that, and I think these guys agreed, that probably the best option would be to run all of this through the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. They are the experts on dams. They build roads. They build bridges. They also are in charge of a lot of the environmental clearances that will be required, and they will be able to get those things pushed through quicker than the county could on the local side. Having to run all that through IDOT would be much easier than to go through the Corps. So I think that's kind of the direction you guys are headed.
Correct.
And then, so the Corps would basically build the entire project. We would have sign off on the plans.
Correct.
part of the core board. We would also have a person, somebody on our staff who would go down and make sure that everything's getting built. So if we take this over, we're assured that it's a good product, which I have no fear that it's going to be a good product. The core does everything they do, and they do a nice job in my opinion. So just wanted to let you guys know that that's kind of the conversation that went on between my office and Fish Market.
It's our federal action, so it will be our action, even though they're doing the NEPA for us. But it'll be our action. We'll sign off.
The other thing too is this particular bridge kind of poses a problem in the sense that we don't inspect that bridge, but our customers, Williams County traffic is driving over the bridge. So I don't inspect it. I don't really, have a whole lot of say with that bridge technically. And so in the future, if the board decides that, hey, that's a good action for us to take that over, it will be our future maintenance. It's something we control. Today, if they've got a problem with that bridge, unless they call me, I don't. And to be quite frankly, spillway situation, not knowing what else going on there, it does concern me. So it's low toasted. And so anyway, just want to let you know conversations are going on with our offices.
So I've gotten a handful of phone calls. And those phone calls, they were concerned that Fish and Wildlife would just do away with it.
Yep.
Completely.
Yep.
So you said that we're gonna have an estimate of cost. So what if the cost is high?
Yeah,
We're still gonna rebuild the dam?
That's our intent. Now, obviously, we get appropriations from Congress, and if you watch the news, y'all know what's going on there. So, no, we do have some money set aside right now through the Great American Outdoor Act. It's been an interest-bearing account, and our headquarters recognizes the gravity of this project and the impact to the local community. And I think we've done a great job trying to, yes, I think there for some in different parts of the United States would love to see this thing go away and us be out of the damn business altogether. There's no doubt that rhetoric has been heard, but that is not our intention here at the field station level. And we know, I see many constituents here today very interested in seeing, the life of this lake extended as we are. So that's our goal here to do the repair. There was talking about decommissioning, but you can throw $50 million to decommission it or fix it. I mean, it's not saving anybody any money anywhere. And I know the local constituents, just with all the camps and the other users of the lake, this definitely has a high priority for this community and an economic impact. And we know that from all the studies that we've seen. So yeah, our goal is not to look at decommissioning, through this. If it is in there, it's a no action, and we just have to record that this is what it would take to do that. But our intent, we know political constituents and everyone else would like to see it repaired, and that's our goal.
Yeah, it's a big part of our tourism.
Absolutely. And so part of this too will also be analyzing, this Williams County, all of our dams. So we actually have deficiencies, some concrete work at Devil's Kitchen. We have some gate structures at Crab Orchard that are going to be looked to be fixed through this money as well. So we're trying to fix up the whole system because they all directly impact Crab Orchard.
You use the word spillway deficiency. I think that's my interest up a little bit. What's the concern with failure here?
Oh, any high hazard dam, if there's an untimely release of water, could be loss of life of property below stream. So that's the bar that we're setting. That's why it's a priority, and we definitely don't want to see that happen. So
That's a possibility here.
I wouldn't say it's a possibility, no. But anytime, you have an untimely release, which is why we're not letting any water go over the top. So it's not the dam that's the problem. It's the spillway. So the dam is fine. Obviously all dams have a little movement, of water through them, but the dam's not our concern. It's simply the spillway, which is now we're maintaining a lower water level and not letting water go to the spillway.
So Chairman, just to add to the study that they're doing, they will have that option in there. But just like any roadway study we do, there's always a no-build option.
Yeah.
That has to be part of that study. So it's nothing uncommon.
Correct.
So when you see that study, you're going to see that part of that. But that doesn't mean that that's automatically what they're going to jump to. So
It's an alternatives analysis, and obviously that's always an alternative. Usually one not taken.
You guys got any other questions? I'm gonna open it up right now. This isn't an actual public hearing. This is a board meeting, so I would ask that you just ask questions and we'll see how this goes.
You ask me questions or y'all questions?
You guys,
Okay,
or they
okay.
can ask us
Okay,
questions.
okay.
We're all here for the same thing.
I've got just concern because I'm a user down there. And we do a lot of fishing on the lake and do some camping. And I mean, the plan, is there any type of plan as far as the campground, the marina? Where are we at being able to use those facilities?
Yeah, yeah. During this process, as we try to get things fixed, there will be impacts to, campgrounds, all the camps, obviously the boat ramps, all that infrastructure will be impacted. Obviously, I see our concessionaire here today. We've had conversations with them about the future, and we know there's going to be impacts, and we're working with them, as we move forward. There will be closures. Yeah, there will be times where you can't use the lake. I mean, we might have to drain the whole lake to do everything from bathymetry studies, looking at all those impacts. So, and we're talking a significant period of time. This could be a 5 to 7 year period of performance here through construction, through all of our data gathering. So. The simple answer for me to say is there will be impacts to all recreation users and all users of bluegrass while we're going through this process.
So you're saying there is a possibility that the entire lake could be drained at some point?
I would say,
What the Corps says.
yeah, I would say yes. I don't think it'll ever go completely dry, but we have to lower it a significant amount to look at all the infrastructure underwater. Yes, we have how far is that valve at the bottom? It's 80 foot down that potentially will be replaced, through this process. So yes, you could see the whole lake drained as a part of this project.
So that valve, it's like the same age as the dam.
80 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It became mechanical.
1941.
And so just so you know, there was discussion, could we fix it 30%? And really the court says, and also we had a private company as well, an AE firm, you usually replace this. You can't patch an 80-year-old, dam. You might get 5 years, 10 years, but that we're looking, this fix would give us, hopefully extend another 50 years. And that's what we're looking to do.
So are you saying that the lowering will happen within this next 18 months?
It could. And as far as if they have to actually do LiDAR, fly over with a drone and actually start, measuring it and then inspect it, what else is wrong? And that's part of this process. They're going to do a full, look into it. We've just, we've done some radar penetrating, information on the concrete, but we haven't looked inside. We haven't drawn it down. So we could, potentially could. Yeah, and obviously through construction, there'll be some laydown. I mean, once we get to that point, obviously some of our facilities will be impacted because it could be barges and cranes and other things that actually, how it's going to impact the road. Obviously at some point, the road's going to close. There's no doubt that I don't think there's any possible way to build the new road and bridge. That will be a consideration, but there will be a road closure as well at some point. It's just no way.
But since you said the concessionaires here, do they plan on continuing to keep the?
No, their contract is over at the end of December, and just all the impacts and the unknowns, we've decided not to extend or renew their contract. So they'll finish out their contract performance, and we will not renew it until we know more about this alternative. Now, so we hope to come back. Maybe there's different money. Obviously, there's other deficiencies in the campground as well that we need to address. And we hope to do it during this same time period. While not impacting the users, it's already going to be impacted as far as, docks, there won't be any docks, there won't be, all those activities will be impacted.
Yeah, going to plan is to completely shut it.
It will be. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
My name is Brian Rice, and I'm a long-term recreation user of the lake, 27 years I've got most there. Do I understand you correctly to say that we might be looking at 5 years?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I would say that's a conservative estimate, probably more. Yeah. Sometimes, that's not our hope, and that's why we're trying to get this study done as quickly as possible and then secure the funding. But funding could be an issue moving forward. But we've already got a good piece to start, and so through that alternatives analysis and through the Corps of Engineers have done many projects like that, we'll try to plan this project out to reduce the impact to the recreational user to the best of our ability. Yes, sir.
I'm representing Little Grassy Methodist Camp.
Yes, sir.
When the lake is pulled down, our infrastructure along the beach area is also 57 years old. So will we be allowed to modify that, improve it?
Yeah.
bring it Up to date, yada, yada?
I don't want to make any promises, but yes, on a case by case, you'll just need to coordinate.
Well, yeah, but I mean-
But this is, would be a great opportunity to improve any infrastructure that you have on the lake, especially once we know what that's going to look like.
But your attitude would be cooperative with.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, we would understand this would be a great opportunity, but, you know, some things could change. And I'll give you one example. Current elevation of the lake could change through this alternative analysis. Right now, you have all those Jersey barriers along the road, you know, that's for freeboard. They built it too close, you know, back in the, you know, 30s and 40s, they built dams differently. So there's a lot of stuff that could change through this alternative analysis. But, you know, obviously, we would go back to try to improve our boat ramps, you know, other things to whatever this lake's going to be like when it's done, and let all of our constituents and users know as well.
Now, but will we know at the end of the 18 months
Yes.
what that's going, what the end product is going to look like?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be a 30% design. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Travis can talk about it. The 30% is you pretty much know all the big facts. There might be some minor details that change, but yes, that pretty much overall project will be understood what it is. Yeah. Questions? Yes, sir.
I've got a business and I'd say 80% of my traffic comes over that dam. I mean, I know you said it's iffy, or it's not likely that you guys could have the new road in place before the dam is worked on. I mean, is there any consideration that
Yeah.
that could be pushed forward, you know, before you guys start?
We don't have funding for that part. You know, we have funding for the spillway repair, which would include that. So, you know, actually, one of our goals, this will be several pots of money for Department of Transportation is what we'll go after. Federal highway dollars, you know, for the road as well. And they do have, and given a little bit of time, you know, it might work out that way. I don't want to give you any false hope, but in a perfect world, we would love to do it that way. We'd love to remove the bridge and the road, have that built before we ever started on the spillway. That would make it easier for construction. I don't have the answer that that's going to be a possibility yet, but it definitely would be our preference, you know, if we could do it that way.
I mean, the other thing is, I mean, granted, I mean, so it's existed for 80 years with traffic going over the spillway.
Correct.
And I'm sure engineering is advanced to the point where they could design something where it lasts 180 years to go over the spillway. The option of looking at the base of a dam versus overlooking the lake as you travel across, it seems, you know, pretty big differential. I mean, is there any possibility that it can be retained, that the road goes over the earthen dam?
It'll be one of the alternatives. We'll look at those recommendations, but yeah, from an engineering standpoint, they don't build it like that. There's specific, because now you're dealing with a road and you're dealing with a dam. You have two assets that if one goes bad, it affects the other. And this is what
Well, you just keep referring, you refer to the whole thing as the dam. You're talking spillway.
No, the road is on the dam.
I understand
Yeah.
that, but you said that you also made the comment that there seems to be no issue with the dam.
Correct. But if we did have an issue, or, you know, in this case, where we'll be working on spillway, it's going to impact that road. So even the spillway, you know, the bridge is on the spillway.
So I get that. I know.
Connected.
Yeah, I realize I'm cutting my throat by doing it that way because you'd be close on it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just trying to think of everybody's opportunity.
And that's what this alternative analysis, it'll look at all those impacts. All those impacts that will be completely vetted through the legal process. There'll be public meetings and express concerns, and you can ask the federal government to consider exactly what you're talking about right there as part of alternatives.
Another question, is there going to be any funds available for economic impact for the camps on the lake? With this lake being drawn down, it's going to tremendously negatively impact our attendance. Is there going to be any assistance or help considered on that part?
Not to my knowledge yet.
Will we see this season complete?
Yes.
Recreation?
Yeah, our hope is, obviously, we're not gonna start this alternative analysis until August, you know, we'll get all the way through that even next year.
It's kind of sad thinking that we're gonna lose the lake that we've had so many years and enjoyed so much. And I'm not getting any younger, so I have 5 years, I haven't never seen a lake again.
Unfortunately, you know,
It's a heartbreaking situation.
but our hope is that it'll be there for the future and not go away. Yes, sir.
Justin, nice to meet you. I'm in Buffington. I'm here to represent a couple different entities here.
Sure.
One being Giant City School, District 130. Two being Devil's Fishing. We have water lines that come very close to what your project's gonna be getting into. And I would like you guys to reach out to us, to our engineering department, as that gets closer.
Absolutely, absolutely.
We've done projects with you before, in certain sections that goes to ductile iron, up to that gravel road. So I think we're gonna have to have some conversation.
You bet.
On it. Yeah. At least disrupting the customers, we have to change some things there. The second thing, I represent Giant City School, District 130, and this is gonna bring a huge transportation issue. We have 200 and some kids in the district. I would like for Travis to reach out to us whenever this gets going, so we can kind of come up with a game plan on how we're gonna get our kids rerouted. It's gonna cost a lot. I think we can work through it.
Yep.
But logistically, we have, our own service. We run kids on a different private bus, and we have, different buses through Robinson. So I would like to get that addressed at some point too.
And I would encourage you, and anybody else, make sure you attend these public meetings. That's what you're for.
Okay.
So that the engineering groups know what they're faced with, what the things that they need to try to design through to try to help you guys lessen the impacts through the whole process. That's what the whole NEPA process is for. And I'm sure my office will be involved in those meetings.
Yeah, that's part of our goal today, is to inform Williamson County, and hopefully we can work partnership, as we go through this process. Definitely want your input, and as we move forward, especially with potential alternative of rerouting the road and the bridge, we can in Williamson County.
We appreciate you coming in today.
One more if I could. So, I mean, is all the land ownership in such a configuration that if you do move this road and dam, is there gonna have to be condemnation? Is it owned by?
No, our goal would be to keep it on fee title, is what we do. Now, if there was a corner or something where that road where it would turn, obviously, we only buy from willing landowners, so we don't have condemnation. So that would not
I wasn't worried about that. I'm just worried about the efficiency of actually having the land. to
be
build the road
correct,
without-
taking time. Yes. Our alternatives will look primarily at what we already own, because you're 100% right, that would be your wait for somebody to sell if you don't have an alternative. So, there is some state land down there as well. We do have authorities to swap lands. We can't divest, but we can swap. So, through that process, and we've done that before with the state. They take some of our acres and we take some of their acres. We can swap. We have enough property that I think I'm not an engineer, but we wouldn't have come to Williamson County if we didn't think we might have interest.
Not that it's my business, but I mean, fish hatchery, if you drain the lake, is it?
It definitely will have impacts to the fish hatchery. They have another place they can go, that the state now currently owns, and we will be giving them plenty of notice in the future so that they can adjust and grow fish either elsewhere or change some of their methods. And we're in those catfish that year to do that. So, and there'll be plenty of coordination with the state fish hatchery. Definitely concerned about us.
So I just not, because I'm a user. So it could be, literally, it could be a couple of years until the lake is drawn down to where it's not usable.
So in the preliminary phase, is there a potential the Corps could ask us to draw the lake down so that they could do some initial LiDAR and some different surveys? Yes, but then we would bring the lake back up. It wouldn't stay down for that period. We will try to keep recreation open at Crab Orchard, at Little Grassy Lake through as much of the project as we can. We would only drain the lake if it was completely necessary to do the construction part, and we just didn't have water.
So then I go back, I don't know what these people's plans are, the safety people's plans are, but if the lake is usable, why would we still not be able to use the campground in that arena area?
Well, usable to certain users, usable to other users might not be the same. So yeah, docks would be impacted, boat ramps, beaches, those things will be more impacted than say, trying to launch a boat and go out there and fish. So I think fishing and boating potentially could happen, but there's going to be impacts.
What about camping?
Yeah, we have other campsites, on the refuge. I know this campground needs some significant work. It needs a new bathhouse and some other things. And so we will look to have those addressed while we're in this construction phase, do it at the same time. If we can garner the money to do that. But in our CCP, which is our guiding document, that was signed and went through the public process in 2006. Fish and Wildlife Service made a statement that we would look to reduce facilities on the southern part of the refuge and increase facilities on the northern part, which is Crab Orchard Lake. So we have already kind of made a statement back in 2006 that through time, through attrition, that we would reduce amenities and facilities south of the refuge and increase those. That was vetted through the NEPA process. It was in an environmental impact statement in EIS, which is a very lengthy document. So that part has already kind of been set in motion, and that's why some of those facilities we have decreased down there, because that's what we said we were going to do.
So will that be a permanent closure of the campground?
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. You know, but it might look different. You know, it might look different once it's reopened. I'm not saying it has to reopen, but it could look different. We're not making that determination today. I think that's a long way out, you know, and still don't even know what the lake, the final design, what that lake will look like, and that'll impact decisions moving forward.
It's a little confusing because you said some of the monies will go to bathhouse reconstruction, making it sound like it's gonna go back to what it was. But what you're saying is that's.
I don't have any deferred maintenance for Little Grassy Campground today. We have a 5-year plan that comes out of our regional office. We still don't have our budgets for this year, but the GOA money is for the spillway. So that's the Great American Outdoor Act money. That was specific for this.
But it gets a little confusing because it gives the impression that.
I apologize. No, there's some deficiencies, in Little Grassy Campground, that if we were going to go back, we would need to fix those, you know, moving forward. Obviously, you know, we've got a concessionaire in there, and we have responsibilities to fix things that we just were never given the money to do so.
That's it.
It is an if. It is an if. Yes, ma'am. It is an if. Yeah. Yes, sir.
What will be the impact on Section 8?
You know, I think that'll be, you know, vetted through the NEPA process. You know, obviously, I mean, there's lower water levels that have lower water impacts. So,
I guess that leads me to my next question. If the campground itself is getting shut down, Touch Nature does an array of, I don't know if it's representative here for Touch Nature, but they do an array of camps and such. They have beaches, same thing as the campground itself. I know they are, you know, through SAU, and I know you guys collaborate with each other. I just would like to know the impact on all those camps and functions for kids, students, and like I said, to adults.
Yep. They'll definitely, I mean, there's nothing preventing any of these entities from running their camps. The water-based recreation would be the main. That's just a cause and effect of trying to fix this. Yes, sir.
Just one more question. I want to clarify this coming summer then, since the study does not start until August, do you anticipate no additional drawdown this summer?
Correct. I do not anticipate any further drawdown. We'll keep maintaining the 4 foot. That's where we've been ordered to do, but I don't anticipate any further drawdown of that this summer.
For the summer season?
This summer season. Yes, ma'am.
So for the upcoming meetings, I don't know if it hasn't started yet, but where can the public find information about those meetings?
But it'll be on our website. We'll post it on social media as well, and we'll also do a press release.
And as I get word, as my office gets word back, we'll put out releases.
Okay, because that's felt like a point of frustration with, I heard about this through word of mouth.
Yes.
So,
So right now, once we get this alternatives analysis awarded, we will do a press release letting the public know that this is where we're at in the process. And unfortunately, you know, with some of the sensitivity to how we were going to do this, we didn't have a plan, you know, vetted yet on how we're going to do it. This is the new plan, and it's taking us longer than I ever would have hoped for. We have to work with our headquarters dam safety office, even though it's a refuge asset, a regional asset for the Midwest region. We had to work through them, so that's another layer, unfortunately, that we have to work through. But once we get to this point, I don't want to say smooth sailing, but information will be much more forthcoming. We have an 18-month plan, and then hopefully, as we get to that midway point, we'll know a little more what this is going to look like and start talking construction. My hope is that this time next year, maybe potentially, or next fall of 25, that we'll be talking construction, what those impacts are going to be, and trying to get that ready even before the final report is done. Yes, sir.
Historically, how is the Corps dealing with the public in terms of, you know, responsiveness?
Sure.
Openness?
Yeah. The Corps has done, in my opinion, much more controversial projects than this. I think they're professionals. This will be out of the St. Louis district office. We're in their backyard. They have a colonel now who's from Southern Illinois, wants to see work done in this area. The Corps has done different planning assistance to the states. They did one for the city of Marion. I think they'll be very responsive. They have a top-notch team. They have that's another reason we're looking to go for the Corps is Fish and Wildlife Service, we're not ambulance. We don't do big civil work projects. This is what they do. This is their mission. So that's one reason we want to go with them is because they have the horsepower capacity to do a project of this size and dollar amount and actually get the contracts awarded, get the contractors oversight, quality control, quality assurance. They have the capacity.
Just to add that, Justin, this is, in my opinion, this is the absolute best outcome of this project is turning it over. Hands down, they know what to do with this stuff.
When I report back to my wife, who's gonna wanna know absolutely, and who probably loves the lake more than I do, which is hard to imagine, I'm gonna tell her that this will probably be our last summer for 5 years, and it may or may not come back after that for recreation.
Last summer to
Boat on the lake, to have our.
I think, I don't know if you'll be able to dock it there, but our hope is to keep the boat ramps open as long as we can intermittently, just depending. It's not to close everything for 5 years. This, just like we did when we lowered Crab Orchard Lake, if you can get in, and we actually tried to make even a few of the boat ramps better. We actually, did some construction and try to identify. We'll make a huge effort that the lake will continue to be
I
used.
guess we slip our boat there.
Yep.
So we won't be slipping a boat.
No, sir.
So we would
That's
be
true.
hauling
That
a boat.
that would be
That's what makes it very attractive to us. We live near there, and so
Gotcha.
we have to spend the weekend on the lake.
Understood.
in the campgrounds and such. So we won't be doing that for,
I don't foresee that.
and it may or may not come back after 5.
It'll be part of the evaluation.
So 50/50, I'll let it go.
Yeah. We don't know what that alternative is. We still don't know.
So right now, I mean, 2 of the 3 boat ramps are totally unusable. You are looking at potentially upgrading something to make the lake more usable, and it's.
If we're able, we will definitely consider what that looks like. It might be not feasible
Is
at
there
all.
any funding available for that?
Depending on what it would cost, yeah. I mean, we have, obviously people that use the lake, pay for rec fees, to use the lake. We use that money to go directly back into our facility, so that's the money that we can look at to do that. Obviously, if it's not, adding 5 feet on to the end of a boat ramp, putting some rock or even doing some dredging at the bottom of the boat ramps, that's what we would consider to be a temporary fix. It wouldn't be a major construction. We'll definitely consider that, yeah.
Okay, anybody have just one more question? I think we're gonna have to move on from this topic.
I just have a quick comment.
Sure.
My name is Kurt Carter. Almost everyone in this room knows who I am. Everyone knows that I'm part of the concession.
Yes, sir.
I don't know where you were in 1976, but I was putting a canoe on this lake. And I have a vested, heartfelt conviction to maintain the integrity of the opportunity for every breathing human being to be able to get on that lake, whether it's be on your pontoon boat or a special needs kid to get onto a pontoon boat, or whatever it might be. You know where I'm coming from. And I don't envy your shoes. I've been in your shoes. I've worked for the Board Mtg. I totally understand how the board works. I totally understand how Fish and Wildlife Department of Interior works. I understand how Williamson County works. I highly encourage everyone in this room to stay involved in this whole process. We'll support you as long as you include us.
Absolutely.
If we get taken out, if we, the people, get taken out of the midst of communication on the development of our resource. I know you guys have the pocketbook and the badges, the suits, and the expertise, engineers, jobs with the county, and all that, but it's our lake.
It is our lake.
It's
I
our
agree completely.
And so, I'm not gonna preach any more than I just did, but I want everyone to be involved, the NEPA Act, we've seen how that works. We want to be actively involved in what's gonna happen to our lake. We don't want you to get up on a Sunday morning and have to explain to your wife, like, oh, I didn't hear about the meeting. Let us know when the meetings are. Let us pull our experts in so we can help you facilitate, because you don't want to get rolled out of here on tar and feather. You want a job. You want to get a job somewhere else where you can make more money and include all your expertise that you learned from this process. So I'll leave it.
Just to add to that, that's why this meeting is held.
Right.
That's specifically why. U.S. Fish and Wildlife come to me and you say, we need to get a meeting, we need to get public involved.
So this is the first step in a longitudinal process that would be all-inclusive, including all the agencies, entities that I just said.
Yeah, I agree, and that's the whole purpose of this meeting, to start.
And I'll just say this, it's the public support that is gonna get this fixed. And like I mentioned about, I'm not lobbying for funding, but y'all wanna see it, built, then that's up to you. That's up to the taxpayer, to let, their representatives know that. We're civil servants. We can't lobby. I can't lobby Congress. I can't ask for anything. All I can say is I support the president's budget. That is the line that I'm allowed to say. So as taxpayers, you play a vital role in this process. Thank you.
The other thing I'm gonna tell you, Justin, is you and your staff. I've worked with many refuge managers. This staff, them and this staff is the best by far that we've had in years, at this refuge.
And I agree.
He's very open to change, he's very open to new ideas and involving the public in everything we do. And that is a breath of fresh air. I've been 31 years guy, I'm trying to work with these guys. For him, it wasn't as easy.
I remember those guys.
So appreciate it.
So I suppose one last thing, call Congressman Doss. It never hurts to call him and your state reps, what district you live in, and call Terry Bryant and Bill Fowler, and we'll stay on top of this. Right, this is, I think you're correct, this is our lake. It belongs to this part of the world. It's ours, we have to protect it. So anytime Fish and Wildlife wants to have a meeting, our place is always open to you guys.
Thank you.
So if you need to have public hearing, I invite you to come back here, let us know, and we'll get it set up.
Thank you.
And anything that we can do to help, we will.
Thank you.
All right, does anybody have anything else before I close this part up? Okay, I think we're gonna take a 5-minute recess. We still have a board meeting. Everybody's welcome to stay for the board meeting, but we're gonna do some county business. And that's it for Fish and Wildlife today. So if you want to stay, everybody's more than welcome to stay. If you want to leave, you're more than welcome to leave also. So we're going to take a 5-minute recess.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, we're back from recess. It's 9:49 a.m. Next up on the agenda is the animal control facility. Let's know what you've been working on.
You brought an updated plan. We've had some email discussions, going back and forth a little bit about road entry. I think our last meeting was discussed about looking at an alternate entrance. The original proposed entrance was to come, look at coming across the north side of the Ameren site there, and just improvements to try to get them to reuse, to cooperatively use their entrance on 37. The last conversation we had about a month ago was analyzing maybe coming more to the north and creating a new entrance on the 37, kind of with that low marsh area as was shown in the grid covered drive. We also looked at a third alternate that would continue to the north and tie into the existing entrance that the County Highway Department is utilizing now. Which would parallel the north-south direction on that east border of that small section parcel that extends up to the north there. We've kind of had a discussion, the design team, Ryan Farley and I, we like this third option. I think it's a little safer. In fact, we're not creating a new entrance on the 37. It's already an existing entrance that you use now. It's line of sight's good. It's a known entrance. Adding a new one is one more person to have to watch coming off 37. We'd have to do a lot more fill to create this new entrance here. It is a little low area.
On the new entrance, if you look, just two plots, there's two entrances south of that. And I don't think it would require any new fill.
To get across this marshy area?
No, not that one, the next one up. No, right, no, the gray one that you already talked, that one there.
Okay.
And there.
It still seems there's some low area there that would probably need a little bit of dressing, not too much? Okay.
It's not much. The only thing, the yellow line that goes up there to this one, my only concern there is you're gonna be in direct conflict with our trucks coming in and out there. I mean, we face that every day, but it's just another conflict point. The trucks in there. That is actually a public road. I think if we do that, that road's probably gonna have to be widened to accommodate. Because right now, it's just pretty much our trucks coming. That's it. One on. My personal preference would be to move up there to that second entrance and separate from ours, just because of the conflict. But if not, I think there will need to be some improvements made to that road to widen. So, just to accommodate safety.
It looks like the same amount of trees or clearing would have to be done either way, to get around that little bend right there.
Yeah, that's, I've walked most of that, it's pretty much scrub.
Yeah.
It's pretty much scrub. But the gray area there that got is an old road bed. I don't know what depth, I don't know if there's, you guys ever done any?
We've not done any borings yet, no, so we, one of the next steps.
But yeah, this is a much better alternative than coming straight in on there. Probably cheaper in the long run too, because you don't have to fill out big area.
Then went through Amherst.
Yeah, through Amherst, yeah, it would be much better.
I think that's what we're looking at. Travis is trying to see if we can get that cost there. I think that would require some easements and other.
It would, and Ameren was receptive to the discussion. We just kind of put that on hold as we had this analysis.
What about permitting? Does she see a problem?
So if we'd have to go through an IDOT permit process for the entrance, that's a major process, but we identified the proposal.
It's pretty big.
No.
I mean, they're probably gonna require a concrete entrance. to concrete anything new that require concrete.
Either one of these other entrances wouldn't have to mess with that survey marker. So we're gonna put it. Well, I've always thought that, that one that you're talking about, Travis, would be a good one. I knew we had a gate back there, like a marker posed here. Let's see.
I'm on the one that's, not the Ameren, the one south of the highway, just right now, that's our road for.
I just have concern with consumers at this point coming in and having to deal with what could be a concentration of highway trucks.
Yes.
Depending on the time of year. And I absolutely agree that if we decided to go to that route, I think then we'd have cost in widening that, at least to the entrance then for the animal control, so that immediately to the south, it's like a better option.
And there are times where traffic flow is really heavy through my parking lot area, so I can definitely see where
That was my
that
next
would be a
question.
safety issue with large trucks and equipment coming on.
So it seems like the agreement.
I think it's that entrance.
Yeah.
Because
I know there's already a pipe in here. I don't know if it's a concrete pipe. I didn't look at that, but when you go through the permit process with IDOT, they probably look at that.
Well, it looks like there's an exit right across the street from.
There's a couple entrances across there too. One of the things we have not done yet, and I hadn't included that in the proposal because I didn't know which direction we're going. We're gonna have to expand our topographic survey, because initially it was all concentrated down here. I'm gonna have to get all this surveyed as well, so I need to reach out to get a proposal on that, and we do that, we'll analyze what the existing utilities and structures are. Now I know which direction we're going.
there,
I can talk to the surveyor and get a price on that, so.
Okay. One of the other things that we have been in contact with on email is, if you want to explain to the board about the use of gas or all electric.
Yeah, so it was we started initial conversations on analysis of the types of heating and cooling systems, do gas or all electric. Obviously, gas currently can be a little bit more effective, cost effective. Who knows what's going to change, or is a push to go to all electrification. Both services are available. Both are going to need, anchored or brought into the site. We have a large gas main, but where we can tap that, we don't know. We've not had that conversation. I guess the engineers are wondering if there's a preference of gas.
we didn't have a emergency generator.
We did not.
No requirements for that.
I know.
If we did, I think that decision makes it easy. Yes. I personally, right now, don't have a preference on this. I think if I did, maybe gas.
I would certainly prefer to have the option, so.
Yeah.
Gas.
Gas.
Gas?
Yeah. If, obviously, if it turns into where natural gas service is not available, you can't see why, and that's with propane, we could revisit that conversation. Sure.
There's a huge gas thing, right?
Yeah, I don't see why we're gonna have any problem with that.
We'll send welders out to make it tap.
We've also started the conversation with the city on utilities. We discussed about doing an on-site treatment with them. The city has some concern with the existing storm system and possible effluence of sanitary out this direction, because this then travels to the southeast and through some residential areas down there. There is city sanitary on the west side of 37, and doing some conversations, we think the best option now is to do a force main. Take it all the way across 37 and tie into.
That would be my preference.
And then get rid of all the issues on site.
We don't want to treat it.
Simplifies the system.
That makes it much easier. A little more expensive maybe right now. Because it's long term. Yeah. That would be something just smaller size of what we did up at. North of us here, White Ash, yes. We did up at White Ash. Very similar to that.
We think we've got a lot of those parts and pieces in place. I did send you our proposal for services. The last conversation was let's move forward with getting some infrastructure designed and bid. And then right behind that would be facility building improvements as well. So that's what our proposal is based on. I think everything's in there other than I'll have to send you the amendment, Jim, on total. I'll have to get with the surveyor and figure what that total cost.
So does anybody have a question? That was, you sent that to everybody?
Yeah.
You sent
It was a proposal.
It's a proposal.
Yeah.
I mean, no, sure. Comment?
So, yeah.
Okay.
Good to go.
Do we need to approve that today? Proposal?
Certainly can.
Okay.
First question.
If we need to approve that proposal today. For that. Are you guys ready to approve it today?
If there's no other question, concern. Any comment from the legal? No? Okay. Motion there to be approved.
And then,
Motion.
right, then you'll get us the,
I'll get your draft contract for review from that.
all right,
I'll second.
roll call?
Tim Atkinson.
Yes.
Jim Marlowe.
Yes.
Jim Renzo.
Yes.
We'll draft BZA contracts, I'll send them to you.
Fine, love them.
Yeah.
They don't have anything in there that shouldn't be.
We'll work with you on it. The top one, you'll get back to us on that. Coco, I'll get you an email, get with them on that, get the price on that. We'll start the process on the special use applications in the city. Any other permitting that we have to do? We'll have to look at the IDOT permit. Start on that as well. I sent you a copy of the draft narrative that I proposed on the special use application. Did you do?
I'll have to take a look.
Okay. I wait for your response before I submit that when you're beginning. Other than that, those are all the major conversations. We did send about the mezzanine.
Yes.
You want to talk about that?
I questioned the cost of the mezzanine. That was one of the concerns last time we talked. You want to discuss the email on that?
Yeah, so I looked at, just using the budgetary cost that we've been using for the basis so far. I saw, if I take in the mezzanine now, it'd be about $100,000 savings. That's the cost of the stairs, upper structure increase, the height of the building increase, and just changing that to an unfinished attic space. Keeping the floor plan as is, the existing, we showed stair locations. We showed that the stairs would be repurposed for mostly mechanical, put in that mezzanine.
Right.
So the net loss would be the storage.
So I guess the question was, do you want to take it out or you want to keep it as is? Honestly, I just wanted to see about the cost of what it was.
We don't have to make that decision, then, do we?
No, but soon we're gonna need to start working on
Yeah,
our designs, once we get the contracts in place.
I know we're estimating about $100,000. I know it sounds like a large number. Actually should be what this is. Just costing them the benefit of putting the units, mechanical upstairs and keep it out of the weather. I think would extend, possibly help extend the lifespan of it. And for the storage, I just wanted to find out exactly what a ballpark what it would cost.
But you could do
We could do it.
you could do an alternate bid. We could, and so you could put it out as alternate one, alternate two, ability to accept or reject any and all. So it's just a matter of paying for extra engineering services.
So that's, I was just getting ready to suggest that. And I think we'll probably have some value engineering on this after we get the bids back. So we'll bid it, we'll find out who's low, and then we'll do some value engineering. Sure, that's never happened before, it has.
It's very common.
Very common. So then we're okay then, we'll keep mezzanine in, alternate.
Yeah, we'll start this and we can work our way through that. If it comes, we need to look at alternates, let's analyze at that time.
It's a fine building.
Get your draft contract for review and we can continue on the process when you're ready with this special application for special use of the city, Marion, and then I think we're, in a decent place.
Excellent. You guys got anything else for Mark? No. Appreciate you coming in. It was nice to have you here.
Yeah, this is a little easier decision than talking about road on the dam.
This is something that we might be able to control. I'm hoping we can have some input on the dam. That would be nice.
Okay. All right.
Thank you for coming in, Mark. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right, going back to new business, the FOD deputy unit contract. Gentlemen, you have a copy of this. We can go through this. Is there any comments, concerns? No. Is there a motion to approve this?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson.
Yeah.
Jim Marlowe.
Yeah.
Jim Razor.
All right. Let's move on down to Highway Department. Travis, could you explain to us what this, I know we've looked through this, we've all looked through this. So it's a brief rundown.
So basically, this resolution is just something that, so we received the SS4 agreement, which is $5,000 federal money, to study proposed safety improvements in the county. We kicked off our public meeting, over what Layton season, and now we're going to start moving into, like today, for example, we've got a project oversight committee meeting. We're going to start setting dates to meet with different entities, law enforcement, healthcare, local agencies, and start getting their input to put this project together. So one of the things that FHWA asked us to do is for you guys just to show support for the project, and to we're making a commitment over the next, I think, the final thing says, Department achieving zero highway fatalities by the end of 2034. Zero is a very lofty goal. It'd be great if we could achieve that by 2034 in the next 10 years. We certainly will strive to do that, but to get to zero is probably not achievable, but we're going to shoot for it. And that's basically what you guys are saying. Hey, we're going to do our best we can to try to improve our roads and other facilities in the county to try to achieve it. So,
And comments or concerns?
Hearing none, I make a motion that we accept the resolution number 24-05-21-73. Resolution of roadside safety goals march towards.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Tim Atkinson.
Yeah.
Jim Marlowe.
Yeah.
Jim Razor.
Thank you, Travis.
Yep. Thank you guys for supporting this. This is going to be a really good thing for the county in the long run. Hopefully open up a whole new avenue of funding.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you. Move on down to public comment. Does anyone have a comment for that?
Sitting back here patiently. That's it.
Sorry, I just brought 3 of these.
That's fine. Could you tell us what your name is?
Dave Anderson. And I came to the courthouse, probably 6 months ago to find out what I needed to do to give my nephew a house and a garage and basically 1 acre. And the lady I talked to said, well, I think this has to be a subdivision, which didn't make any sense to me. The term subdivision for a house and 1 acre. She went and talked to somebody, I'm assuming her boss, and they said, yes, you would have to do this as a subdivision, and everybody's going to have to sign off on it, and you'll have to give him an easement to the property. So I had called Jim because the county commissioner was on there, and Jim said, oh, I don't see a big problem with this as long as the engineers and stuff are going to want to see that he has access to the property. I went to Bi-County and talked to them about the property, and they said as long as you do a sewer easement, they're good with it. So I hired Don Bullard, surveyor, and he worked up the proposal.
And I think he took it to the clerk's office and they looked it over. And I guess he went to Travis's department and we've got a roadblock. So that property is in the middle of 100 acres. It has access from the north from Twin Lakes Road, which stops at the Sanders Cemetery. It has access from the south from Joliet Lane, which is where I live. I also own 2 barns that are just west of this 1 acre and just south of this 1 acre. There's 2 big machine shed barns that obviously I still have to get access to. So I'm here to see if we can't figure out how I can get this approved and get my nephew, so I can give him a house.
Is this, access to this property, you said it's on an easement?
Yes, off of Joliet Lane.
That's what's
Off of
proposed.
Juliet Lane, if I
Yeah.
read this right, Travis, we have 50 feet, 97 hundredths.
I didn't bring
Is that the
something.
width of
Oh,
that?
you have a copy?
Yeah.
Do you have, am I reading that correctly? Is that the width of that connection onto the highway, the road out there?
I believe that is 50 foot. I didn't bring my reader's tin.
Well, you want to borrow mine? I can use mine.
But I believe that's 51 feet.
I think
50.9. Yeah.
50.9.
Yeah.
So this is a subdivision, right? Our requirements for subdivision is 75 foot, isn't it?
Well, okay, so there's a couple of different things.
Okay.
First of all, Mr. Anderson, this is just us saying what the policy is. Okay, so, unfortunately, Alex is not here, because I don't know what conversation is happening in Alex's office.
I'm not talking to Alex.
Yeah, but, so basically, with the ordinances that the county board has adopted, you have to have 50 foot, or 75 foot. When you do a subdivision, which lets you go below 2 acres, when you do a subdivision, you have to have 75 feet of frontage on a public road. Okay? And if you do a division of land, which is over 2 acres or more, you still have to have access to a public road, 75 feet. So what I told Don Bullard was, and this was all after the fact, because I didn't have any of this beforehand. What I told Don was, I said, they're very likely to grant a variance on the 50 foot versus 75 feet, but they have been very reluctant to grant. I don't know that it's ever happened, grant access off of an easement. So then Don presented me another plat that we done Heritage Hill 1863, so we done it here. Well, we didn't do it there. Across the north part of the property line, there's a fee simple access. There's no road there, but there's fee simple access, then there's an easement. So that being the difference. Limited time frame, what I've looked at, but I don't recall in my time frame, I don't believe Alex recalled anything we've ever granted variance on an easement versus actual frontage on a public road. So that's the 2 issues that we've got. Is that what you understand?
I'm kind of lost on all this subdivision for a house in 1 acre that I'm gifting my nephew. If it means I can give him 2 acres, if that goes over, if that eliminates any of this.
I don't think so. I mean,
there's properties in the county that there are easements to that property for people to go to get to their property. I'm sure in the county.
Yeah, can't answer that question. My understanding is, under both, and Alex I wish Alex was here, he's actually more of an expert on this stuff.
But I went to the office.
Yeah, Alex is sick, but.
I did go to the office before I started this whole process and talked to the lady, and she went back and talked to a gentleman in the back. I'm assuming her supervisor,
Well,
and they told me, you're gonna have to give your nephew an easement to the property.
Well, so I actually asked Alex about that, and he's like, yes, but you also have to address all the other issues of the subdivision.
So what is this, what is the subdivision? Where did this term come to? I'm giving my land to my nephew,
Your
you're
land,
one house.
your land surveyor is very aware of the subdivision.
Okay,
In fact, he told me that he said that this would never get approved by the county. So Williamson County is one of the few counties that actually enforces theirs and does not give any exceptions.
what? I guess I'm just hung up on that term subdivision. What qualifies as a subdivision? People sell a house and a lot all the time, and it's not considered a subdivision. So what qualifies this as a subdivision?
Because it's less than 2 acres. If it was 2 acres or more, then it would be a division of land. But there's still a requirement for frontage on division land.
But the requirements are different than a subdivision.
That's correct.
So people don't sell property that doesn't sit right next to a road, is that what you're saying?
The parcel itself, because you're taking 100 acres and you're dividing it, but you're dividing it into a tract that is less than 2 acres, requires a subdivision plat. That's, so a new development comes out and say you're gonna put 10 lots in and they're gonna be less than 2 acres. You're gonna have to have a subdivision plat that has roadways and sewer and utilities and everything lined out for everybody else for future use of those other lots.
That's correct.
Now, when you do a division that's less or more than 2 acres, then it's a division of land. So you're taking 100 acres and you're selling 15 of it. You can do that so long as, again, the requirements of the division of land is one of the things is that they have to have access. So they have to have ingress and egress access to the property. So that way the land isn't future locked. So if you have a parcel and you have 15 acres in the middle of 100 acres and you sell it to somebody, but they can't ever get to it without your permission.
Isn't that what an easement does? Gives them permission to go to that?
It would, depending upon how it's set up. But
Okay,
again, you've got to get into that, and then that has to be recorded and has to be granted permanently, so where that can never be retracted back, because if not, then the parcel's landlocked.
so we're assuming anything, we're calling this a subdivision, but this is not the same as where I'm selling
No.
a contractor 100 acres to develop it into a
It's
subdivision.
not, but it's because the gift is going to be less than 2 acres. It's the reason it's called a subdivision. If it was more than 2 acres, it would just be considered a division of land.
So
But
if
there
we,
still are requirements of a division of land that have to be met in order for that division to be granted.
okay, so if we, are you saying that if we resurvey this and I give him 2 acres, what changes about what we want to do here and give him that easement to get to that property?
Travis, on this easement, if he were to give easement, we can deed that over.
See, I think that's the problem with the easement. I don't
It's
think the
easement is the
easement
problem.
is what the board, or what the subdivision, the ordinances don't allow, it's the easement. And that's the reason on this 18, whatever plat on the other one, we let them record the easement on the existing road, but they require them to give them a fee simple access that, to 50 foot, so that they had a fee simple interest that went along with that property. Is I think, is what we've always done. And
So
that's
if we
what-
were to include the easement as part of the parcel.
Yes, well, as fee simple as selling the property, giving him the property along with, the roadway property, along with the actual plot, then yes, it's legal.
Well, then how do I get to my buildings? They're right there, at that. I mean, this is where I have a 80 by 40 pole barn, and this is a 20 by 40 pole barn on both sides of this. That's how I get to my property and my buildings.
But right now you own all of that property, so you have the ability to get. to it.
Yes, but I'm still gonna own where those buildings are,
I
right?
understand.
Okay.
But that's the concern is, so where do you get access into those? Because you're thinking of it in the mindset of, I own this and the person I'm giving it to is a relative, we won't ever have issues. The property record has to consider that you don't own it 5 years from now and somebody else that's not related has that as well. So does everything remain at peace?
So wouldn't that easement go
Again,
along with the selling of that, and then the new buyer, which is not gonna happen, but if it does, then the new buyer has that same easement rights, doesn't that transfer?
again, because this wasn't an agenda item, I've never seen the plat. I've not had any conversations with the supervisor of assessments. All of that needs to occur before I can give any more of an opinion. You asked what is the difference between a subdivision and a division of land. I advised of that, but can we get to an answer? Potentially, but there's
That's
other
what we
parties
want.
that aren't here that need to be able to have some input.
Dave, I'm sorry if things got misconstrued. Whenever I said that it should be no problem, it's always referring that we don't have a problem with the highway department or with assessors.
And that's why I came here first,
Yeah.
to whatever I needed to do to give my nephew a house that he can't wait to have, and he loves it, and it's beautiful property.
We understand it's frustrating.
And it's gonna be it's gonna be in a trust that's gonna pass along to him
Right.
and my two sons.
So we just need to do it the right way.
And I just, whatever guidance you can give me to get this done, but I can't really sell him this whole property. What's he gonna have to do? Give me an easement to use that to get back to my barns? That's like, you won't give me an easement to get to his house, but you'll let him give me an easement?
Well, and again, that's where I can't comment because I've not had any conversation with Alex.
I mean, I just wanna get,
So we'll have that conversation and we'll give you a better opinion.
so, yeah, whatever the differences are between 2 acres or less or more, please get me that information. What happens if I do sell him this property to that? Can he turn around in 1 month, sell it back to me? And I give him an easement? I mean, I don't wanna circumvent,
So
I
here-
just wanna,
Understand.
I'm gonna give him an acre.
So here's what happens with it, and the reason it's subdivision, division of land, is it will be, a separate parcel number will be created. A separate tax bill will be issued. Once that's done, it stays there. So then if it's sold down the road, it can be sold down the road, but it's created as a separate parcel. Right now, if I'm envisioning this right, you got 100 acres and you've got a very odd shaped hexagon or. Yeah,
That's because there's a beautiful lake that wraps around
But
that.
I'm just saying that it's an awkward looking element that we have to figure out. Now, how do we make it proper?
So we can do it, just give me the guidance to get this done.
So
I
then,
have another solution, maybe. He builds the road, makes that kind of road. No,
We want to do the same thing for it needs.
I know, but I'm just throwing it out there as a solution.
Let's talk to Alex, figure out.
I mean, you have to build it to subdivision standards
He'd have to build it subdivision standards, yeah,
with cul-de-sac, everything.
right. So there's another solution that's maybe possible.
There is, it's one we usually avoid.
I know.
I would like to avoid that.
We don't
so then it's
roads to the same
Well,
thing.
yeah, yes, and it goes right down the middle of our 100 acres. And my house is just right there. where that road is.
On the flip side of this board has to make this decision in a way that everybody in the future that comes back to this doesn't do what we just got and hand this up to practice, so you just come here.
Yeah.
Now you've lost control of your own ordinance.
Yeah.
So
Well, to me, there's not many people going to build subdivision because
and that's not just subdivision, it's also a division of land.
I know,
It's not
but I just-
frontage. So.
I mean, there's just not one.
can we not then set up a meeting with you, Alex?
Sure.
Whoever, all the players that we need to set up.
Well, I would respectfully request, let's have an internal meeting about what needs to happen.
Yeah.
And we can advise.
I think that's what he was saying.
and have-
That's what.
Yeah, the
that's
internal
what-
meeting.
Take a step forward.
Good?
All right,
Okay.
we'll have a meeting and we'll get back to you.
Perfect. I just need one of those back. Doesn't matter which one, it's for my records. I've already spent enough money on this to get this done. So let me know, please, and we'll get this done.
Any other public comment? No, let's move down to miscellaneous. Do we have anything miscellaneous? Do I have anything else for this board? All right, Brett, I'd like to go to closed. We need to talk about a property issue.
Okay.
Stephanie, could you grab that property piece I gave you the other day? The one I asked you to put the form. He's going to. Yes.
Chairman, you need anything else from me?
No, anybody else have anything from Travis?
Thanks.
Thank you for coming in, Travis.
Section 5. 2C5.
It's in there.
For the purchase or lease of real property.
Here's our motion to go to close.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Magnuson.
Yeah.
Marlowe.
Yeah.
Jim.
Up at the top,
Take on.
I got this, that button right there. You push that?
Yeah.
I do everything.
We're about ready to throw it in the parking lot.
That's not distracting at all, is it?
It's one of those group things.